Well, everybody wanted their horses explained, and I'm doing the best job I can. I got through a third of our list. We're now back with I'm Hill on Wheels. This is a horse that has his issues. He has a few little OCDs in places we couldn't operate. No lameness issues, so to speak of. He's growing. He's getting more confident, and Mario's done a great job with him. I said to Mario, we're not looking for any great improvements week to week with him. Just inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. I want to see him get better, and he is. I'm Hill on Wheels is getting better. I did it again. I'm Hill on Wheels is getting better and looked great again yesterday. A horse that started him at a B-. I'm going to keep him at a B- right now. He's still got a lot of work to do, but he's more than capable of doing it and happy too. Jazzy Judy. You guys are going to be a little surprised. I've seen a lot of talent from Jazzy Judy. I've seen an immense growth in maturity forward. She's just a smart filly. She went from being a sow, getting at the door, leaping, kicking, and being a pig on the track sometimes, to walking out the door with an open bridle on, jogging up on the track. We gave her some time last month because she's not going to race till later in the summer, into the fall. Jazzy Judy went from a C-, and I'm going to tell you, you might be surprised, A+. And you are going to see, this might be more of a forecast than anything else, but you will see that Jazzy Judy is one of our very, very best fillies, I think, by the end of the year, which is surprising. She's a Delaware bred. I shouldn't say she's one of our best fillies. Jesus, we got a lot of really nice fillies. She's a very nice filly, put it that way. She has the 2 stakes in Delaware, so there's 4 races, maybe a prep is 5. I might even pay her into the Pure Ivory here if she's ready in time, which would be 7. I see Jazzy Judy having no more than 8 or 9 races at very most and being put away. She's ready to start back training now. She's been jogging for the last 10 days. I'm going to maybe turn her a slow mile on Wednesday. You might even see her on in a set on Saturday. Maybe not. I don't know yet. But Jazzy Judy, C- to an A+. I've seen more than enough to make me believe that this filly has a ton to offer in 2020. I guess it's worth me explaining also. I've said it a million times. She's a Delaware bred. There's only 29. I have the list right here. Look. 29 horses. They must all have sustained, I guess. It says 29 trotting fillies are eligible to race this year. They're all right here. I'll tell you quickly. They're by Anders Bluestone, CR Commando, Anders Bluestone, Anders Bluestone, Anders Bluestone, Keystone Activator, He's Spooky, Anders Bluestone, Keystone Activator. I don't know any of the horses. Giant Hit. I had a Giant Hit that I loved one time. Giant Hit is a sire in Delaware. Outside of Giant Hit, it appears Anders Bluestone, Rolls Blue Chip. I know that horse also. Rolls Blue Chip, He's Spooky, Dusty Winner, Keystone Activator, and Political Briefing are the other ones. Let's just say they're not mainstream sires. So 1 of 29 is Jazzy Judy. And I don't know how all the other ones are training, but I know ours is training very, very good. Keystone Raven, gave her B-. I'll keep her at B-. I wouldn't go as far as to say she's injured right now. She is, she might be on the injured reserve, I guess, what you're saying right now. She kicked the wall. She had to kick the wall. Left hind, her ankle filled up a bit. She was sore for about a week. We gave her some time off. We tried to bring her back. She was a little sore still, left hind, less, but still prevalent on that left hind. Had her ultrasounded. They couldn't find anything. It could be a bruise. It could be a sprain, I suppose. We'll try and jog her Wednesday morning, and then we will re-ultrasound regardless to make sure there's nothing there. So Keystone Raven, if there is something there, I don't think it's serious, but it needs addressing right away. But Keystone Raven was training great up until that point. She was a B-. I'm going to keep her at a B- just because we haven't seen anything conclusive to say she's anything worse than a B- right now. Very happy with Keystone Raven, and whatever happened with that left hind ankle is very fixable. Let's roll on. Let's roll on. Struggled when we broke him. Horrible gait, clicking and clacking and getting out of gear. He's now, as I predicted, getting stronger, getting faster, getting much more confident and consistent on the track. Looked great again yesterday. Let's Roll On as a Southwind Spirit was my top pick, I think, of the sale, if I'm not mistaken. He's quite a ways from the top pick of the stable right now, but he's making his way to the top. I wouldn't say quickly, but he's making his way to the top. I know one thing, I gave him a C+ at Christmas. He's a B- or a B+ right now. This horse really looks a lot better than he's looked in a while. Very happy with Let's Roll On thus far. Lincoln Hanover, first day purchase on day one of a well-bred trotter for $15,000. Kind of odd, don't you think? He's put together okay, but his feet bother him. He broke well. He looked good. You could tell his knees bothered him a little bit, and they did in the summer. Did it again in the summer when we were, or in the winter when we were training him down. We had to stop with him in January and just jog him for a month, like GW Chrome, where's the other big guy? Carry a Big Stick and a couple other horses. We just jogged them for a month of January and then started training him again. Got the corks off him. He was much better. And his last 2 weeks have just been tremendous. I gave him a B-. I'm moving him up to an A- only because the horse has looked awesome. 2 weeks ago, if you just look at his video, I didn't look closely again yesterday. Mario said he was very good, but I know 2 weeks ago he caught my eye on the video. He came a big last half, and he was gaining on everybody. Lincoln Hanover, I think, is a horse that is soon going to come in to everybody's picture. You're all going to look at him and be interested in him, I believe. New York bred, lots to offer. Just a really, really nice trotting colt. Started at B- at Christmas, moved up to an A- today. Miss Meringue was our most expensive purchase of the entire year last year for youngsters. $60,000 we paid for this filly. Very well bred filly, first foal out of a very strong family, and looked the part. Still does. Didn't train her yesterday because she trained incredibly hard over the last 2 weeks. And when I went with her, GW Chrome beat me fair and square, but I believe GW Chrome is probably one of our best horses. Yeah. And Miss Meringue has really come on to be a nice-looking horse. You guys saw the video of her last week, and then you didn't get to see her yesterday, but on Wednesday she was very good again. Mama Knows Best, one of the cheapest purchases in the entire Ohio sale. Mika, he's a great kid that bred her. I think he got robbed. He only got $4,000 for her. But she definitely looks as good as anybody that we've had for quite a while. She does everything right. She's got a fantastic attitude. And she's got a nice gait. Really nice gait. She was good again yesterday. Mama Knows Best. Just continues to show that Ohio is still a place where you can get a good horse for any amount. And Mama Knows Best has been one of our better horses. An A- at Christmas and still an A- easily. Next is Momo. Momo was a filly I liked. I liked her a lot. And then Ollie was at the sale. And Ollie came to the sale and said he loved Momo. I think he loved the name, Momo. But he kept taking us back to the stall to look at Momo. It's funny because he saw me critiquing all the horses we were looking at to our clients who are with us. So now Ollie's, she's really nice. She's brown. Look how big she is. It was just funny when he did. I wish I had a video of it. So Ollie really fell in love with Momo. Now, here's the thing. Is that when Momo was in the ring, I said, we're not going over $22,000 for Momo. I think that's what I'd said, 22. At one point, I thought we had her at 12, 16, and then it bounced around, and then it got to 23. And I had bid 22, I believe. And we were at 1,000 now. They went to 23. I think they were trying to get me to bid 24, and I wasn't going to. I bid 22. The screen comes up 23, and Ollie looks at me and he goes, thought you said you'd only go to 22. I said, that's not my bid, buddy. We're not going to get her. And he literally, you could see the tears starting in his eyes. And it didn't matter. I wasn't going to 23. He could have pissed his pants right there. I wasn't going to bid 24,000. So he's at 22. They have 23, 23. The guy looks at me and I said, no, I was at 22. So he says, hold on. They literally stopped the sale. I know what they were trying to do. They figured I'd go to 24. And that's how they work. The sales companies are sharp people. And a lot of times these bids get lost sometimes. So I bid 22. Someone potentially bid 23. They couldn't find that $23,000 bidder anywhere. They looked and looked. Nowhere to be found. They backed her back to 22 and dropped the hammer. So we got Momo at 22,000. So Ollie went from tears to his eyes to jumping around happy. He went and got a bunch of pictures taken with Momo, and he loved her. Momo is excitable. Not in a crazy way. She's just competitive. It's like she's a colt stuck in a filly's body. She's bouncing. Did it again. She's bouncing around all the time. Looks great. And a number of people had said, why don't you go with her? Because, you know, when these other guys go with her, she just looks okay. They don't have to look great every week, right? Momo always paces, always does her work, and always tries. You can see where Davey kind of moved her early the other day, and she didn't really fire down the lane, but she doesn't have to. When drivers jump up in behind her, I guarantee you Momo's going to be all business. Every time I've ever gone with Momo, immediately she was just a different horse. And there's no need to be too concerned with Momo. She does her work well. She's sound. She's moving forward. B- at Christmas. She's an A- now. She does everything great. Momo is a filly I really like. My Jazz, obviously, I'm a lovely lady in My Jazz. I pay particular close attention to. They're both by My MVP. Now, My MVP's last year as a sire in Ohio is this crop, this year. Maybe next year. No, I think it's this year. I'm not positive. But I know the ones that are being foaled now are Ontario breds because we have two mares. Obviously, our Muscle Hill mare and Dewey Ann. And we have them both in foal to My MVP, and they're going to foal out here in the next month, I guess. So I'm paying particular close attention to My Jazz, and I'm a lovely lady. My Jazz, as soon as we put the hobbles on her, she but I don't know what she did yesterday. She made a break on the front end. It looked like she was just beginning to lose herself, and Stevie kind of missed her by a second or two, and she rolled off. It's not a big deal. It happens. But My Jazz has been very, very good. And aside from yesterday's break, has been fantastic. B- at Christmas, she's going to a B. Just a straight B. No Free Lunch. Now, this horse, I couldn't really get a handle on him. Danny always covers him up and sits him at the back and runs him up the wood, and I never really could get a true handle on him. I never really went with him, and we just had a couple of curbs crowd with him. The other day, Mark Isabel, who how do I put this? Mark really throws caution to the wind sometimes in training the horses. He tries to do a good job, and he does a decent job, and he loves the horses, and he's a real hard worker, but I did it again. But sometimes he can be a little hard on them, like you saw yesterday. What's the filly's name? We'll come. Sweet Ambitions. He opened up like 5 lengths on us. Like, just look over your shoulder, back up, and sometimes he doesn't pay much attention to it, but God love him, he tries hard. Anyway, he went with No Free Lunch the other day, come with him first over, cleared to the front, sat in a little bit, and then it looked like they were going to swarm him. And I was really paying attention because I wanted to see what this horse was going to do now that he's in this position. And Mark kind of chased him and shook him up, and zoom, he drove away from them. It was really impressive. Now, Danny, again, ducked him in behind everybody yesterday, and it's frustrating to me sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's not racing, and he looked great on Wednesday, looked decent yesterday. He's going from a C at Christmas to an A- easily. No boots, no poles, just got a great attitude and a big gait on him. I really like No Free Lunch, and I think he's going to be a decent horse for us this summer. Next is Northern Blizzard. Now, Northern Blizzard is a big, strong colt, probably one of our biggest horses. I worked him extremely hard for 2.5 weeks. He started getting on that right line a little more, probably hurting in his knees a little bit. So we're just going to opt to back off with him for the next 2 weeks. Very slow miles with him on Wednesday, and again next Saturday. You may not see him train again next Saturday. He's not lame. He's not even that sore, but I can see it coming. I've gone with him for 3 weeks. He was straight. Then we had to put a Murphy blind on him. Now it looks like he needs a Murphy blind and a head pull. Just running in a little bit off his knees. Not a big deal. We'll just back him up. But the mile he went for 2.5 weeks, he beat up on some good horses and looks so good. This horse has got a ton to offer. He's going from a C at Christmas to an A+. Northern Blizzard, I think when all the dust settles and we finally get to racing in the summer, you're going to see Northern Blizzard be one of our better horses in Ontario, I believe. Off-Road Hanover, here's a horse that always had that flashy, good-looking gait to him, but he was a stud. I went with him 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, and he hung on me. Switched his tail. Just ignorant, sour thing to do. So I come off the track emphatically. He is to be a gelding immediately. The vet came, gelded him. I hadn't gone with him a little while. I went with him yesterday. So much better. Just looked like a real nice trotter. The comparisons that were made yesterday by myself and another client were exceptionally good and validated. I think, thinking back to where that horse was at this time and where he is, impressive. So Off-Road Hanover, he might have been a B yesterday. I wish I had said C because he's an A+ right now. This horse looked so good. He didn't want any part of Walk on the Moon, but Walk on the Moon, like Northern Blizzard, I think will tussle to see who the best horse in Ontario for us is, on the trotting gelding side, trotting horse side, I guess, because Walk on the Moon's still a stud. But Off-Road Hanover is so good right now. Very impressive mile from him. Most definitely an A+. Very happy with him. Perfect Record was very good yesterday. This is another horse we gelded. I left him a gelding or a stud for a long time. He started getting out of gear a little bit. Now he is he's a gelding, but still does his work rather well and did his work really good yesterday. Showed the old Perfect Record coming back again. These are the things we want to see. You're going to have some of these bigger, stronger horses that get these aches and pains as they go through growth spurts, but it's what they deal and how they deal with them after that matters. And Perfect Record has dealt very well with his. Rito Sunshine moved him from a B+ to an A-, or B- to an A-. Perfect Record. Rito Sunshine looked like he was going to be one of our better horses just by his looks. Then we started to break him and train him down. You could tell, one, he didn't need to be a stud, and two, a little rough. And then we got him better and better and better. And he started coming on, trained awesome for about 3 weeks, moved him down to Harry's Burn. Harry focused more on getting him healthy. He always had that mucus in his nose. He focused on getting him healthy. He's got him there now. But I think he took advantage of that time off, and he kind of regressed into that roughness stage and looked better yesterday. I think Harry's on the cusp of getting him moving quickly in the right direction. So Rito Sunshine, definite improvements last week from the week before. At Christmas, he was a C. I'm going to move him to a B+ just because I know he's coming on quickly. Rose Run Why Not has been solid from day one. You could tell she had, not solid, you could tell she had talent from day one, made a lot of breaks along the way, but has really put it all together well now. Miss Meringue and her, I knew were going to be totally different price-wise, but body makeup were identical, the same. They look the same on the track. They're both going in the same direction and look very, very similar right now. Rose Run Why Not, a B- at Christmas. I'm going to move her to an A- right now just because she's doing her work rather well. Round Midnight, no longer with us. So, let me give you a little story. You guys think that somebody said the other day and said something rude about pumping and dumping shares. I could have pumped this guy from day one. Beautiful black, big Jim. Here's a brother too, Capistrano. Come and buy him. I bought him for $26,000. That's what I paid for him. The breeder and I worked out an agreement. He kept 10%, I kept 90%. Not one time did I ever tell you he was anything but a little mongrel. From the day we broke him, I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he moved. I didn't like the way he acted. I never ever dressed him up or polished him up. I told you exactly what I thought of him, which wasn't a whole lot for a long time. So we gave him time. You know, we gelded this colt. We worked with him. We changed his shoes. We changed his equipment. We tried to keep him happy. We backed him up into slower sets. He had been in 235, 232, something like that, but just never wanted to do anything right, ever. I went with him on Wednesday. I come off the track, and he aggravated me from day one. I didn't want to go with him ever. And then I went with him. See? I went with him again on Wednesday. I come off the track, and I was just infuriated. You could tell he just hates everything about being a horse. You don't want to be a racehorse? I don't want to race you. I called up Bob, and I said, listen, we can't sell around midnight because nobody's buying horses right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. So I don't really want to spend $300 putting him on the sale board for however long it takes for his name to drop down the list. And I don't think anybody's going to want to buy him. And if anybody called and asked for the straight goods on him, I couldn't lie and say that I liked him, because I don't. All you'd have to do is go back and look at any of the videos that I've ever made about him. I think I've been pretty upfront about it. He said, what do you want to do? I said, well, there's a guy that works for us that really likes him. I just want to give him the horse. He said, well, what do you mean? What's he going to give us for him? Nothing. Not a thing. But it's going to stop the bleeding. And I don't have to feed him anymore if he's not in our barn. So why don't we just give him away? So that's exactly what I did. Around midnight on Wednesday, Chris Rogers, that trains for us and volunteers and is a good guy, I said, Chris, you like going with him? You think he's got talent? You can have him. Here he is. And he goes, well, I got to get a truck and trailer and take him up to Peterborough where my buddy is. And I said, no, you don't. No, there's a truck and trailer right there. I own it. Here's $50. Put gas in it. Go take that leech shank, hook it onto that horse, put him in that trailer with that truck, take him away. Just bring me my leech shank back, please. And those front bandages. And that's exactly what I did. So Round Midnight is no longer with us. He is gone for free. So for those of you out there that think that Anthony's just a salesman and wants to collect as much money as he can, I just took a $26,000 loss. Oh, sorry, 10%. A $23,400 loss on Round Midnight. But I don't have to feed him anymore. I don't have to get angry every time I see him on the track or when I go with him. And I think our barn's much better off without him in it. So that is that. We will not speak his name past today. And good luck to Chris. I hope he wins the Breeders' Crown, 2 or 3. Roy Hill. Let's start with a horse I like. Roy Hill. I'm not giving him away. Roy Hill's a nice colt. Looked absolutely fantastic yesterday. When I went with him, you could tell every time I went with him, I thought his hobbles were tight, but he felt like he needed them. His head was too high, and he fought with it the whole time. We had a snake cord in him because he can get a little grabby sometimes. There I go again. But he's under control. So what we did last week, I let his hobbles out 2 holes. I let his head down 3 holes, put the snake cord on him. And we changed his front shoes and put a set of flip-flops on him. I thought maybe some of that aggression came from a little bit of soreness that he had. Where are we at? 20 minutes? Maybe some of that aggression came from a little bit of soreness that he had. If we took away the soreness, let his hobbles out, let his head down, he might come around. And that's exactly what he did. You saw how quick he finished up. He actually got interfered with coming out of the last turn when that horse made a break on James. But finished up very, very, very strong. Steve said he wasn't on a line, straight as a string, did everything right. Voila. Roy Hill is back to where we wanted him. He was an A+ at Christmas, and he is an A+ Rooney now. Set the mood! So we always joke in the barn. Mark Isabel Disco, we call him. If a horse is on a line, he'll say he's crook. What he's trying to say is he's crooked. But it's French accent, it comes out, he's crook. So, every time we see a horse running in and on line, we'll look at each other and say, he's crook. So it's a joke. So, set the mood, you guys will notice. Fast colt, always crooked. Always crook. But, yep, there we go. Always crook. But, he's sore. You know, there's no 2 ways about it, but he's the same, right? And here's the thing you have to understand. Horses that are sore never stay the same. They always get better or they get worse. They don't always stay the same. So for the better part of 4 months, Set the Mood has been crook. He's been on a line, running in. His knees bother him. And at the end of the winter, I'd worked him real hard a couple of times. He looked good, but you could tell he was sore. So we put flip-flops on him, got the corks off him as soon as we could, and just give him some time to relax. He's won every set I think he's been in since then, and he won again yesterday. Yeah, he's running in. Yeah, he's crook, but he's tough, and he loves his work, and we're going to continue to allow... I know. We're going to continue to allow him to do it. I gave him a C at Christmas. I'm giving him an A-, not because he's a fantastic horse, but because he's one of the hardest workers in the barn. And I love horses that work hard. A- is fair for a horse that's won his last 3 sets and has looked great and tries as hard as this horse. A- is the least we can do for him. We keep a very close eye on him all the time. His joints seem cold, but I know his knees hurt him. I know his feet have to hurt him a bit. He probably got a couple little holes in him somewhere else. He tries. And Set the Mood will, I suspect, as we continue to put muscle on him, continue to put strength in him, and he stays at least at this level, we can manage him. So Set the Mood, great horse, great looking horse, great attitude. Certainly no concerns for me. So Admirable has been awesome. We're going to start it off right now. She's going from a B+ to an A-. And only an A- because she hasn't beat everybody yet, but she's shown the ability to beat anybody at any time. Looked great again yesterday, finishing up. I just ambushed her halfway down the lane with Stacy Hanover, and Stacy's really figured out how to trot hard on the end of it. She was flying down on the inside. Set the Mood was very good also and looked great in the mile. Here's a filly with the same bloodline as Admiral's Express, is down on the 3rd dam or something. Here's the story how I bought So Admirable. So there was a filly I liked a whole lot at the end of the Goshen sale. She was so surreal, big, shiny, good-looking thing. I said, you know, I'd probably go. And this is how stupid you feel sometimes at a sale. I said, I'd probably go to 10 or 12,000, maybe more on her, maybe 15. She's a good-looking filly. She went for 47,000. The next filly in the ring wasn't as big and strapping, but similarly built. Maybe just a very smaller version, not a ton smaller, because So Admirable is a good chunk of a filly, but similar. Stood well, pretty head on her. They all look the same, those So Surreals. Beautiful horses. So, 24. She went for like 4, 5, 6,000, something like that. And I had the last bid on her. I loved her. We brought her home. We've loved her since day one. She always had that feisty attitude, but she got a slick gait, just a really nice filly. So Admirable, B+ at Christmas time, A- easily now. Saurus Blue Chip. Tom's always been good to us. We didn't buy any horses this year. We tried to buy one, that expensive horse we were looking to buy. We didn't get this year, but we did buy Saurus Blue Chip. Embryo transfer kills you. People won't bid on them. This was a small colt, but very, very well-bred colt. Should have brought 4 times what he brought, at least 3 times what he brought. We bought him. I was very, very happy with him. He's been good from day one. Is he sound? Doesn't look sound on the tracks. He jogs sound as a dollar. You speed him up, and he's got that little roll to him. Looks like left front bothers him a little bit. But he has no heat anywhere, and I have to tell Chris all the time, just keep working him. Same thing I told you. Horses that are sore don't stay sore. They get different variations. They get better or they get worse. This guy's been the same, so I'm waiting for him to work through it, and I suspect he will. Saurus Blue Chip's got lots of speed, very durable colt. I've gone with him a couple of times. I thought he was awesome. So Saurus Blue Chip, C. We're going to move him to a B+ because he doesn't look sound as a dollar, but he does his work very, very well. B+ from a C for Saurus Blue Chip. Stacy Hanover. I'd said to somebody yesterday, there I go again. I said to somebody yesterday, little pacey, and Stacy was pacey. That rhymes. She made a break. Don't want to rhyme with that. She made a break yesterday and looked terrible at the start. I said, this filly's horrible today. Maybe she's horsing or something's wrong with her. She doesn't mechanically look any different from the day before. I got her to settle a bit. She felt like she was into her own gear. I crossed her over to the front, and it just felt like she relaxed right away. And Johnny came with So Admirable, and then Mario came with Cut the Line, and they stayed right beside each other the rest of the way. Coming out of the turn, Stacy felt good. I dropped her down to the inside, and I could have just heaved the lines over her back. She was trotting perfectly from the head of lane to the wire, sprinted by 2 pacers that are decent horses that were going all they could, sprinted right by both of them all, and kept going. Stacy Hanover's an impressive filly. I don't know what the hell was going on at the start. I can't wrap my head around it. I wanted to believe it was her feet, but if it was her feet, her sorest steps would be her last few in the mile, not the first ones. You know, and she wasn't sore to work it out. I jogged her around and scored her down a little bit. She was thawed out. Whatever was bothering her shouldn't have been bothering her at that point. So I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then the people that own her brother are clients of ours. And they said, you know, we heard you in the live broadcast say that she was terrible at the start. And Steppy, her brother does the same thing. Signal Hall. I said, oh, it's not possible. Or Signal Hill. And he said, it's not possible. He said, and he said, yeah, the horse, he gets out of gear sometimes like that. And then all of a sudden he'll be great. I don't think I've ever seen a horse do it. I can't match a horse to that. What she does, I don't know what it is. So I assume it's just maturity. It might be something in the family, I guess. I don't know. I thought she was horsing a bit. She wasn't as good as she always was until the end of the mile, and she was awesome. But just shows her tenacity, right? To be having not a great day, but still put it all together when it's on the line, and that's what it all counts, right? That's it. That's racing. It's to be able to do things no matter what. And Stacy Hanover was incredible yesterday. Sunshine and move her from a B to an A. I'm giving her an A+. I would have given her an A-, only how impressive she was on the end of the mile yesterday. Just a beautiful filly, does everything right. Stacy Hanover, B to an A+ easily. Sunshine in May is going to remain at B+, or B- right off the hop. Does everything right. Sweetheart, beautiful little filly. Finished up strong yesterday. How good is she going to be? I don't know. But as I said to Kevin, as long as she can beat a condition claimer, she's going to do all right for me. I don't care. That's, you know, I own, what, 70% of her still? Bill and Stuart had sent the filly to us. Obviously, she's a little midget, a little tiny filly, but she's a wiry little thing, and she loves to compete. So as long as we take care of her and put her in where she can do well, she will. So I drove her mother many times, Laura May. Jason McGinnis actually owned and trained her mother for a while, Laura May, and this is the daughter, Sunshine in May, by Sunshine Beach, and she looks very, very good. Horse, Surreal Love. He was a C at Christmas. I'm moving him. I would give him an A+, but he hasn't been as flashy as he was 2 months ago when we were really working him hard. Most importantly, we want to keep him sound, and Harry said he's seeing him get better and better and better. Sound is $1 now. Surreal Love's going to move from a C to an A-. Surreal Love was I think, a $4,000 purchase from Goshen Sale. I was really, really impressed with Surreal Love. How he did his work, how impressive he was, how tenacious he was. Now that he's getting sounders, pretty hard not to like him. So Surreal Love easily moving from a C to an A-. Very inexpensive yearling with a huge engine and a huge heart, and he loves his work. So it's pretty hard not to have a ton of respect for Surreal Love. Sweet Ambitions. Going from a B plus to a B-. She just kind of does her work, right? Goes through the motions. I'm hoping that she's one of these horses like Compass Rose DC and lots before her and probably lots after her, that once they see the starting gate, they come to life. This is a filly that is, as I said, a B plus, moving to a B-. Pennsylvania bred filly by Father Patrick. Has done work, needs to do more, but sound and is capable of doing whatever you ask her to do. Tanzanite Tricks. Let's start with the C that she had. Going to move that to an A-. This filly has looked great since we put the hobbles on her. As one of our clients and people that owned her said yesterday, little bumpy still yesterday. She's been great. And Tanzanite Tricks has just been fantastic the last little while. She's starting to get dapples on her and shine up, and she's getting confident, right? And Johnny loves going with her. I suspect that bumpiness, maybe she just needs to be shod. Maybe she was horsing a little bit. They're not going to be great every week, and she's been great the last three. It wasn't that she was bad yesterday. She just wasn't as good as she's been. I see I'm getting up to around 32 minutes. So we're going to end this video. Now you're going to have 3 videos of 2-year-olds. You guys wanted them. You got them. Tanzanite Tricks. I don't know how good she'll be, but I know she's a sweetheart. She loves her work, and she's starting to do it really, really well. She's moving from a C at Christmas to an A-, and she deserves every bit of it. I'll be right back with the end, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 horses of your 2-year-olds.